Welcome everyone. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of teaching experience and I'm here to help you with your doubts if you have any. Today we look at the poem A Considerable Speck written by Robert Frost. Robert Frost was born on March the 26th, 1874. He died on January 29, 1963. He was born in America at a place called San Francisco. He moved across country from the west coast to the east because his grandfather had a farm in New Hampshire and he went there to live with his grandfather. Most of his poems were written over there. He tried to have them published but did not get much success. He sailed to England when the farm failed him, and while he was there, his poems were published on both sides of the Atlantic. He came back to America during World War I to find he had become celebrated in his own country. He remains the only poet who has won 4 Pulitzer Prizes that are awarded for writing great works of literature. Today, we look at the poem A Considerable Speck written by Robert Frost. A speck that would have been beneath my sight on any but a paper sheet so white, set off across what I had written there, and I had idly poised my ink in air, to stop it with a period of ink, when something strange about it made me think. The poet is writing a poem or maybe a letter. When he notices something on the paper on which he is writing, the paper is white, and here is a tiny thing. He takes it to be an inanimate object at first, perhaps a speck of dust, and he just lifted up his pen, was about to write, to make a period, a full stop. When he noticed something strange about it, what did he notice? This was no dust speck by my breathing blown, but unmistakably a living mite, with inclinations it could call his own. It paused as with suspicion of my pen, and then came racing wildly on again, to where my manuscript was not yet dry. The poet has noticed a speck of dust. He is writing something on a piece of paper. He raises his pen to put it on the speck of dust and stop it flying, when he suddenly realizes that it is a living creature, a small tiny mite. He realizes that it has a mind of its own. It suddenly stopped when it saw the pen coming towards it, and then it ran away from it. It ran towards what the poet had written, and when it reached there, it paused. Why did it pause? Did it drink the ink? Did it smell the ink? What caused it to pause? With loathing, for again it turned to fly. Plainly with an intelligence I dealt, it seemed too tiny to have room for feet, yet must have had a set of them complete, to express how much it didn't want to die. So the mite had reached the written word that the poet had set down with his pen. It turned away in disgust because it hated the smell of it, maybe it tried to taste it, but it ran away. And the poet is amazed, something so small has feet which I cannot even see. And it must have a very good set of feet because it can run away. It's running away from whom? It's running away from the poet. It doesn't recognize the poet. It probably just sees the movement of the pen. But it recognizes that here is a threat to its life, and it runs away because anything that lives does not want to die. It ran with terror and with cunning crept. It faltered. I could see it hesitate. Then in the middle of the open sheet, cower down in desperation to accept whatever I accorded it of faith. The mite ran. It ran in terror. It ran towards the middle of the sheet. And it must have realized that this is the end. I am finished. And it sort of sat down and decided to accept whatever was going to happen to it. If it was going to be killed, so be it. I have none of the tenderer than thou, collectivistic, regimenting love with which this modern world is being swept. But this poor microscopic item now? Since it was nothing I knew evil of, I let it lie there till I hope it slept. What is the poet trying to tell us? He's saying that today in this modern world, people are overtly sentimental. They are not sure of what love really is, but they are told that love must encompass everything. Love is governed by rules. These rules are set by society. Love is not about control. So he rebels against it. He prefers a gentler live and let live philosophy of love. He probably left writing and moved on, hoping that the mind would realize that it has been left alone and now it can relax. I have a mind myself and recognize mind when I meet with it in any guise. No one can know how glad I am to find on any sheet the least display of mind. The poet says he is intelligent, and he always recognizes intelligence wherever he sees it, in any form, and he has seen it in this mind. And he is very glad. He is very glad that on a sheet of his where he was writing, he found something that is so small, so tiny that he would have missed it. But even something so small and so tiny has intelligence. And he is very, very glad that he recognized that intelligence and did not kill it by mistake. The themes of this poem then. The poet is reminding us that we share this planet with all forms of life, and that we should respect each and every one of them. Some are so small we might not even be able to see them. Some are so big that we might be frightened of them. But each and every animal, each and every species, each and every creature on this planet is worthy of our respect and love, because all of them are conscious living creatures. They are all intelligent life forms, and the inherent value that every one of them places on his or her life must be respected by all of us. That's the end of the lesson then. I hope I have been of some help to you. If I have, please do remember to like, subscribe and share. There are other people out there who might need our help. Thank you for watching along.